What's going on, guys? On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at something truly unique and weird. And you know I love talking about weird stuff.
Hey, that's enough.
What do you mean that's enough?
Hey, I need to be in front of the camera. It's my video.
It's a weird gun. I do weird guns. What are you talking about?
What, you think it's some kind of charity? Huh? You think we're just doing this for fun? Look at me. Look at me. I'm wearing KWA drip through and through. Outer and inner layer. You think I just dressed like that as a coincidence today? Alright, it's KWA. My turn. My video. Get out.
Okay.
Anyway, where were we? Okay, what's going on, Male Gangs Boaz here, and today we're going to take a look at, like Isaiah said, something very unique, something special, something I'm very surprised that has come into the US market lately, and that is going to be the KWA officially licensed by Lithgow Arms F90 gas blowback rifle. Full disclosure, what is my relationship with KWA? Do they pay me? Am I some kind of pay shield? Actually, I'm just a guy who just really loves KWA. That's it. Ever since I was 15 years old, my first high-end airsoft rifle was a KWA M4, and I've been running KWA ever since. I've owned KWA pistols, KWA rifles, KWA submachine guns, okay? I just love the level of refinement and quality that you get out of a KWA. Now, I know there's some of you out there that might angrily type in the comments, oh, well, I tried KWA, and my thing's broken, it's fucked, and maybe you just don't deserve KWA. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay? Maybe you just have a lot more self-reflection and maturing to do on your own end because KWA picked me. Okay, so maybe there's some work you gotta do to yourself for KWA to pick you. But all jokes aside, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this Lithgow licensed F90. First things first, you're gonna realize this gun is pretty hefty. I will say that this gun is surprisingly very well balanced because this is a bullpup. So again, a bullpup rifle is any kind of rifle that has the magazine or the action behind the trigger. And so because of that, a lot of the weight is actually towards the rear, towards the stock area, which makes it very balanced. If you've never held a bullpup rifle, airsoft or real before, you will quickly realize how pointable the gun is, how easy it is to maneuver when you hold it. So that's the first thing right out the gate. Now, when you feel the gun, you're gonna notice that the most of the body of the gun is gonna be made out of polymer, and that's because the real Lithgow Arms F90 is gonna be made out of polymer. And it's not just any kind of cheap, crappy polymer. This is very thick, sturdy polymer because it's a gas blowback gun. It's gonna have a lot of moving parts. It needs to have a very sturdy body in order to house a lot of the mechanical movement that's going inside the gun. Outside of that, everything else is going to be made out of pretty high quality metal. I mean, you have this beautiful looking fluted barrel along with their nice top fully monolithic optics rail, so you can mount whatever optics you want. And they even offer Picatinny rails here on the right hand side of the F90 for any accessories, and a small section on the bottom for you to mount any kind of foregrip or flashlight, whatever accessories that you want. If you move now towards the main trigger assembly area of the gun, you're gonna notice that the gun does look a little weird if you're not familiar with the AUG style platform. You have this very enlarged trigger guard, so you could actually wrap your hand around the trigger guard and just kind of use that as a foregrip. In fact, many people have done so for many years, you know, if they're running the AUG. And you have this very big trigger assembly, which we'll get into a little later. Let's talk about the fire controls on the F90. So if you pick up this gun, you're gonna quickly realize that this gun was pretty much orientated towards the right-handed shooter. So all you wrong-handed shooters out there, just be aware of that. The charging handle is going to be mounted on the left-hand side of the gun, so it's meant for you to rack the gun with your off or left hand. And similarly, towards the rear of the gun, you have an enlarged bolt release to send the bolt home, and that's going to be, again, on the left-hand side of the gun. Now, moving down towards behind the magazine is going to be your magazine release, which is a big, nice, enlarged lever for you to actuate the magazine release with either hand. And on the pistol grip, you're gonna see this nice big chonky safety. So this will take the F90 from safe to fire. Now you might be wondering where the fire selector is on the F90. So if you're not familiar with the AUG platform, the trigger is actually your fire selector. So there is no actual lever or any kind of manual selector. It's all done with the trigger. So if you pull the F90 trigger halfway, you'll go semi-auto. Now, if you want to go full auto, you just have to depress the trigger all the way down, and then they'll automatically take you into full auto fire. So just make sure to keep that in mind when you're running the F90. over here towards the very tip of the barrel, you do have KWA's signature nice anodized orange flash hider, which honestly looks really, really good. I would feel pretty bad trying to remove it, but this is a correct AUG style flash hider, so that's pretty cool to see. And finally, they do give you their own AUG style F90 30 round green gas magazine. For those of you who have been airsofting for a while, you guys might be really curious about what kind of internal system this F90 is going to be running. And to put it simply, it's completely proprietary. I mean, there are very, very few gas blowback AUGs that even exist on the airsoft market today. And if you were to show me 10 different airsoft gas blowback AUGs, I can show you 10 different gas systems. It's just the way it is. So KWA had to kind of design the F90 from the ground up. And I will say that they did go the extra mile to make the function and the feel of it as one-to-one or as realistic as possible to the real life counterpart of the F90. The reason why we'll get to in a second, but just to show you guys one cool thing about this is the takedown of the F90. It's very, very, I would say one-to-one like the real Lithgow F90. So first thing you do is eject the magazine, and you're gonna see the body pin, or like the release pin here. It's like this big rectangular block here. You just push that out with your thumb, and once that's free, you can literally just yank the body and the operating mechanism apart. And so now you have a very easily accessible system over here. And this is actually the bolt of the F90 here that you can easily also pull apart with no tools required. And over here you have your barrel and your hop-up unit. Now, one cool thing I like to mention about the barrel and hop-up unit, if you can see really close up here on the right side of this gun, is that it's a rotary style hop-up unit. So I think it's really cool to see that KWA has included a rotary style hop-up in an unusual system like this F90. And also, if you look down the other side of the barrel, I noticed that KWA's hop-up bucking has these nice V-shaped teeth in the bucking, so it will give it that really nice long-range accuracy. And not to mention, this barrel is freaking long. As you can tell, it's like a 16-inch barrel here. The reason why the KWA F90 functions so similarly and realistically as possible is that KWA actually won a major contract with the Australian military recently, where they are now supplying this exact gas blowback F90 to the Australian Defence Force. Actually, here's a bunch of photos of them actually using the KWA F90 in their training scenarios, and they're basically doing force-on-force training. I guess a more glorified way of playing airsoft in order to receive training. And that's pretty much the reason why this gun exists, is that the Australian military needed some affordable and very easy to use force-on-force training application, and KWA stepped right on in, because that's kind of what a lot of their products are geared towards, is actually not just us, the airsoft players, but more towards helping train different law enforcement and military organizations. The KWA F90 chronos in at 400 to 420 feet per second with a 0.2 gram BB and green gas at room temperature, and has a rate of fire of 10 to 15 BBs per second.
420 FPS? Ah, geez, dude, that's too hot. I can't bring that on my field, bro.
Well, the chrono readings are varying differently depending on the temperature and the atmospheric conditions, like all gas-powered airsoft guns. And yeah, the primary concern is because of how long the barrel is, it's gonna be shooting pretty hot. So I would more or less relegate this gun to outdoor play. But if you are very concerned about how hot this gun is shooting, not to worry, KWA has told us that they are going to be releasing low power nozzles and low power bolt assemblies for you to quickly change the FPS of the F90 on the fly, and so you can meet your chrono requirements. Okay, at this point, I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing my voice, so enough talking. Without further ado, let's shoot this thing. Isaiah, grab a ton of green gas and let's go outside. Okay, so we are at the test range here with the KWA F90, and we got the mag here loaded up with 0.32 gram BBs and green gas. There has been some sporadic wind over here. I believe it's kind of like a headwind, and we are the temperature wise is like around like the low 60 degree-ish, so it may or may not kind of affect the performance of this thing, but we'll just see. I don't know why KWA decided to release this gun like when it's not gas gun season, you know, but anyway, let's go ahead and shoot this bad boy, and oh, that is so satisfying to do. Okay, so we do have a target roughly around 200 feet away, so it is kind of like more or less your typical like long range outdoor field kind of test here. So let's just, without further ado, let's just go ahead and shoot this bad boy. Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, 200 feet, no problem. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are some flyers here, but easily reaching out and touching at that 200 feet mark with the F90. I mean, the barrel length on this thing is so long, and I love the action. Like when you're just like shooting this thing, just spamming rounds down range, like you feel that kick all the way back here, just directly into your shoulder. It's super fun, and even with this 2-stage trigger, it's pretty snappy. Oh, we're out of ammo, but let me come around this side. Don't worry, not to worry. I have a spare magazine. Oh, a second F90 magazine. So why don't we just go full auto real quick? It is a little sluggish just because of the temperature here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun just to feel that thing chug into your shoulder. Oh man, this thing's really cold. Yeah, so this is a mag that actually we used to adjust our hop up with, so it's already a little cold, and I think just unloading all that gas all at once in that 60-degree weather kind of slowed down the fire rate. But let's step back farther and just see how much farther we can take this F90. Okay, so we have stepped back a significant distance. I've reloaded the mags and gassed them up, so they should be good to go. The target now is roughly around like 250, 280 feet. If you just go ahead and turn to that real quick. Yeah, so it's pretty far back. Yeah, we're almost at that 300-foot mark here. So this is probably going to be like the bleeding edge of what you would expect an airsoft gun to go. But honestly, with the gas gun like this, honestly, like I would probably put like 0.40 gram sniper BBs in this thing, step that back out to like 310 feet and just let it rip. But let's just see if I could land any shots here downrange. Yeah, it's becoming a little sluggish. The magazine is still cold. Okay, so I am getting a bit of a drop off here. I don't think I'm getting as much gas out of it because it's cold right now. Oh, there you go. Yep. Oh man, this wind is pretty gnarly downrange. Oh yeah, I hit it. Yeah, I mean that's pretty nutty. Yep, there it goes. Yep. 2 hits, 3 hits. Okay, now I'm losing a little bit of gas volume, but oh, I hit that one. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how far this thing can shoot just out of the box, you know, just because it's a gas level rifle and how long this inner barrel is. I mean, come on, I'll have 2 more shots here. Yep, last round, and the last round hit. So we are now at the 300-foot mark actually. So this is again like the very bleeding edge of where you would expect an airsoft gun to perform. So I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind and just see how far this gun will go. Like, well, KWA, will you look good? Will you look bad? We'll see. Okay, so I might have to lob it a little bit, honestly. Oh, almost. Falling just shy. Just shy. Oh, he got it! Yeah, I mean, I think the BB is a little too light. It's being affected by the wind, especially after it loses all its momentum. Oh, I got hit. I do have to hold it a little bit high, but it's consistently getting out there. Oh, hit it. Hit it. Just shy. Yeah, I mean, if you take nice and controlled shots, you could probably, I don't want to say effectively, but you could get out there to 300 feet right out of the box, which is crazy. I mean, if Unicorn, if you guys decide to make a barrel and a bucking cutout for this, I mean, that would be so insane. But again, that barrel length and with controlled fire, because if you guys spam this, if you go full auto, you're not going to get a consistent amount of gas per BB, so you're probably not going to be able to reach that range. So I urge you, if you want to take long range shots, slow it down with the gas guns and you'll probably get out there. Yeah, I mean, every time I'm shooting, it's just... Oh, last round? Oh, dang it. I thought I was able to get over the last round. But yeah, it's 300 feet. This thing can shoot up to 300 feet. That's what I expect out of a KWA. But after that's all said and done, how much can you expect to pay for a gas blowback rifle that is as unique as the F90? Well, as of right now at airsoftgi.com, the KWA officially licensed Lithgow Armament F90 gas blowback rifle retails for $460. And at this point, if you're not using the Wombo combo for automatic free shipping and rewards points, I don't know what else to tell you. Quick side note here, I know that the F90 is pretty expensive, but a lot of you guys might be wondering how expensive the magazines will be, because if you're an experienced airsoft player, you'll know that gas blowback rifles are expensive and then the magazines are similarly very expensive. But right now, KWA is selling their F90 magazine separately for $55 a pop. And I don't think it's that unreasonable. I mean, it still is pretty expensive, but I mean, there's a lot of other gas blowback magazines out there that cost like $70, $80. So I'd say for $55 is a little bit more on the reasonable side for a gas blowback rifle. $460 will put this right smack dab in the middle of that high tier, high echelon airsoft gun, along with a lot of those other really high end airsoft manufacturers that you might be familiar with. And honestly, that doesn't surprise me. I'm pretty surprised already that the F90 even made it into the US market to begin with, because like I explained from earlier, KWA has developed the F90 specifically to meet the needs of the Australian military. So I am assuming that however many F90s KWA decides to produce will pretty much go straight into the Australian military, and then whatever is left over, I'm assuming, will then trickle down towards the consumer market. So that may or may not play a factor as to why the gun is priced the way it is. The biggest reason I think as to why the F90 is so expensive is honestly going to be the amount of R&D and engineering that is required to make a gas blowback rifle like the F90. The F90 is not a clone of any other gas blowback rifle out there. KWA had to start from scratch and hire engineers, designers, and developers to pretty much make a ground up gas blowback rifle that is good enough and reliable enough for it to be seriously considered by the Australian military. And honestly, I think at the end of the day, that's pretty much the big reason why this gun is so dang expensive. I still think that this is a very rare treat for us to have in the US. I mean, if you look at the airsoft market in the United States today, it's like 99% AEG M4s, and you'll have like the odd AEG AK here or there, but more or less, you know, like we kind of are in somewhat of like an M4 monolith. And seeing companies like KWA bring out more exotic airsoft guns, especially a gas blowback exotic airsoft gun, I think it's really cool to see. And I think if the community, if the market continues to support other companies making really cool different airsoft guns, hopefully in the future we'll have a lot more different airsoft weapon variety. But let me know what you think about the F90 in the comments below. Is it cool? Is it not cool? Honestly, if you haven't shot one of these, I would highly suggest you do test fire, or at least shoot one of these bad boys as soon as you can, because it is an absolute blast to shoot. But if you like what you're seeing, if you like the content, please make sure to subscribe. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and hit that bell icon to get notified of every time we upload a new video. And if you like to support us directly, if you like to help support the channel directly, keep those lights on and that camera rolling, make sure to stop by Airsoft GI for all your airsoft needs, including this amazing, exotic looking KWA F90. And I'm Boaz. We'll see you next time, Mail Gang.